Hi everyone, welcome back again to Anna. My name is Anna. In today's video, we're gonna do some ink swatches, writing sample, and comparison of these Sailor Chroma Shading inks. So I have 5 samples I got from Anderson Pens to try, and I just wanted to show it to you guys. So again, I'm fascinated by multi-shading inks because I think they're really fun to play with, and I'm gonna do some swatching today. So the first one up that I'm gonna swatch is the Kanyu. So it's very interesting actually to see how this compares with the Sailor Ink Studio line because they have a lot in common, and it would be interesting to see the similarities and differences among them so that if you are considering getting one of them, so at least you have an idea. All right, so I am gonna do this Kanyu. And Kanyu actually is like, it has a lot of purple in it. Okay, so that's how Kanyu looks like, and it does remind me a lot of the Sailor Ink Studio 1, 2, 3 for whatever reason. It does look very similar. I'm just gonna write the name here. This is Kanyu. I'm gonna do like print today. Okay, so again, this is how it looks like. It is very pretty. Okay, I think oh no, this is not the darkest they have in their collection. I think there's another one that's darker than this, but it's definitely one of the darker inks they have in their collection. So that's Kanyu. Moving up, let's take a look at the next one. This is called Kyoku, and I don't even know if I pronounced it right. So this is also very interesting. Let's try to see. And this is light. It's light, and for whatever reason, it is also the thinnest one I think they have in their collection. The ink is really thin, and it's much more thinner than others, and I am not sure as to why, but I am swatching here using the Nanami notebook, and the paper they have here is a Tomo River paper. Right, I'm gonna write the name here. Kyoku, did I spell that right? And then I'm gonna do maybe that. See here, the ink is really thin on the paper here. Okay, so for whatever reason, the camera does not quite capture the actual color. It actually looks paler than Kanyu, and it's more of like a pinky purple color. It's like a muted pinky purple color, which is very light. But I don't know why it does not pick it up. The camera does not pick it up, but that's how it looks like. So the next one I'm gonna swatch is the Seki. And this one actually reminds me a lot of the Sailor Ink Studio 252. They have so much in common. So if you are contemplating on whether or not you're gonna get one of these, so it might be better to actually, watch some of the swatches and see how it looks like on paper, and then decide for yourself if this is something that you still want to add to your collection. But if you are, a sucker for multi-shading inks, you probably won't have to ever think twice. You're just gonna get it, right? Alright, so this is how Seki looks like. As you can see, the color itself is just so difficult to tell apart from 252. So I'm gonna write the name here. This is Seki. If you switch the bottles, I won't even be able to tell them apart, honestly, because they are just so much similar. I think what will tell them maybe apart would be this one has like the green ink in it, like the green dye is showing through. I don't think that the other one has that, but I don't know, I might be wrong. But that's how the Seki looks like. Then the next one up, we're gonna do another that is very similar to Seki, and this is called Yakuya. And this is, I think, a tad bit lighter than this, but the ink tone again is very similar, so it's really hard to pick. So I am gonna do this Now the Yakuya is also very thin. The ink is very thin and it's also very light, but I think it's also very interesting. Just because I think the shading shows more on this than others. That's just my opinion. Okay. Like I said, it's very light. Next one, I'm gonna just write the name here. It's called Yakuya. Okay. Yakuya. It's also very light. So this Kyoku here and this Yakuya, they are very light inks. Okay. I'm gonna do some lines here. Maybe that. Alright. But it does show up a very nice shading because you can see that green color showing through, which is also visible, you know, if you are using like a broader nib size pen, or if you have like a flex pen. It's very nice because the shading is very prominent. All right, so the next one up, I'm gonna do the last one that I got. This is Ama Moyu. And Ama Moyu actually reminds me a lot of the Sailor Ink Studio 280, just because this one also is green in color, but it does have an interesting shading of, I think, purple or pink, something like that. Okay. Right. Okay. Alrighty. That's that. And then just gonna write the name, and then I'm gonna show you some writing sample next, and then we're gonna compare this with the Ink Studios. Okay, so this one is not, you know, dry yet, so the real color is probably not showing. I forgot to write the name. The name is Ama Moyu. Alright, Ama Moyu. Okay, I struggle in pronouncing that, but I don't know if my pronunciation is even right. Alright, so while we let this dry, we shall take a look at it again when it is dry. But before that, let's do a little, let's zoom this out so you guys can see clearly how they look like. Okay, so again, you have Kanyu. Kanyu is the purple one, the darkest in this 5 inks that I got. The Kyoku, you have Seki, Yakuya. These two are very similar, but the green, you know, the green in here is more prominent than this one here. And then you have the Ama Moyu. Okay. All right. So while we are letting this dry, I am gonna go ahead and show you a writing sample of this 5 inks. So this time using a Midori notebook. So I wrote it on my Midori notebook. We're gonna come back to this other journal later on and take a look at it again. All right, so this is basically how the writing looks like if you use a fountain pen. The first one up that you see here on the screen, let me zoom in so you guys can see clearly. So this is written using the Kanyu ink. So again, very legible, very readable. This one is by using the flex pen, so it's nice. Then the next one here is a quote written using the Kyoku ink. I used Pilot Metropolitan Medium Fine in this writing, and as you can see here, it's a lot paler in comparison to the other one, right? It does look gray, but I promise you that in person this really looks like a pale mauve color. And then the next one here is the writing using the Ama Moyu ink, and I also used a medium nib in here. It's also light, but kind of like a muted olive color. Very similar to 280. And the next one here is a quote using the Seki ink, written using a Seki ink, and I use a flex nib here, and it's just nice like how it looks like. Again, it does look a lot like 252. And then the last one up is a quotation from Robert Frost, and then I use an ultra flex nib, and the Yakuya ink here shows a really nice, you know, shading, and I kind of like it. It's not the lightest, but I think it is one of the lightest. Am I right? I can't decide which one is lighter because both the Kyoku and this Yakuya, they are both light, but I like the Yakuya because I think of all of these ones that I got, this one shows the most shading, and that's just me. Anyway, so this is how the writing looks like, you know, using those inks. All right, so the next thing that I'm gonna do here, let me see if my swatch is already dry. I am not sure. It's not yet dry. It's a little bit dry, but not quite. I'm just gonna use a blotting paper here, and I'm gonna show you some writing sample in the Toma River paper. I actually did another swatch here, but all right. So here is 1, 2, 3. Let me zoom that in. So here is 1, 2, 3. Here is 2, 2, 4. Okay, and here is the Kanyu ink. Zoom that in. You guys can see clearly. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3. This is 2, 2, 4. Okay, and as you can see, this is Kanyu. So these three, okay, have a lot in common. Okay, I think the Kanyu has more purple in it than the 1, 2, 3. But you know, just looking at the writing itself does not really show that much of a difference. Maybe you will see some difference in the swatches, but if you do a writing, they are all, you know, like very similar. Okay, now let's take a look at the 280. This is 280. 280 has green and brown shading, and this is the Ama Moyu, which has green and also what looks like, it's not brown, but it's like more of like a purple color, muted purple color. So it does have a lot of similarities. Okay, if you already have the 280, I mean, it's up to you if you still want to buy the Ama Moyu, but I would tell you that they are very similar to each other. In fact, I would say that I actually like the 280 more than the Ama Moyu, but that is just my opinion. Other people might disagree with me. Okay, so do you need, you know, a Kanyu ink? Well, it's up for you to decide. It's what you are willing to spend on, but actually it's hard to tell them apart. You know, if you give me an ink vial without a label on it, I would probably be having a hard time identifying which one is one because they look very similar to each other. All right, so let's take a look at other ones here. So this is Seki. Okay, as you can see, it has that kind of like a pink, more like a purpley pink, more leaning more towards the pinkish side color. And this is the 252. Let me maybe zoom this out a little bit. I don't know, so you can see it. So I think the pink color in here, or the mauvish color in here, is a lot brighter, okay, compared to the Seki. And probably the reason why is Seki is supposed to, you know, have more shading in it. Okay, but if you look at the tone in here, they're actually similar inks, but in terms of the shading, which shades better, I would say the Seki shades better, you know, than the 252. But in terms of the, like a base tone or something, they are very, you know, alike in many ways. All right, and then let's take a look at another one here. Here is the Yakuya, and here is Seki. So as you can see, they also have a lot in common, but the Yakuya one is really light. It's very light. So you might really need to use you know, broader nib, but it shades beautifully. I think this one has a good amount of shading. As you can see, this vine that I created here, this is drawn using the Seki ink, and this one is drawn using the Yakuya ink. And the saturated version of that, as you can see, does not have much difference. So it kind of looks the same, but it's just that overall this one is lighter. And then you have the Kyoku that looks bluish gray in the screen, but it's not anything like that. So this actually looks, you know, like purple pink, but very, very light. So these are the comparisons that I have. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Are you considering getting one of these? These are play inks, so I would suggest it's better to try them out in sample sizes and then later decide whether it's worth getting a full-size bottle. but I already have a full bottle of Ibizora, which is unique color, and I really like it. So it's up to you guys, but now at least you have a comparison in case you are curious as to how they look like compared to each other. I honestly think that Sailor is just tweaking its ink, you know, like maybe adding a few percentage of the same dye to make it look a little different, but they're essentially using the same dye. But that is just my theory. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments, suggestions, you know, anything you'd like to ask me, just feel free to reach out to me and put your comments in the comment section below. And if you have not subscribed already, you know, if you wanted to be notified of when I upload my next video, so please feel free to subscribe. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon, okay? Bye!